What's up, y'all? Back. Let me start over. Hold on. Welcome. No. What's up, y'all? Back with another video, man. And happy Thanksgiving. Today is Thanksgiving. I'm recording this. I was supposed to do this like 2 days ago, but we here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to keep it low. You know, because I'm talking about my voice. I'm gonna keep it low for this video because you know I got family and shit. You know, but happy Thanksgiving to y'all. Anybody watching this, blessings to you, your family. Hope y'all, you know what I'm saying, have a great day, have a great feast. But today we got Kendrick Lamar Directness album review. I'm gonna talk about it. Lately when it comes to album reviews, I just get straight to it. I don't want to sit here for long periods of time just going through track by track. I don't want those type of videos. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find my own lane with it. You know what I'm saying? Still a work in progress, but we gonna hit all. I'm trying to make sure I hit all the main points, the points within the album that I fuck with. You know what I'm saying? That I find interesting of the album. So overall reaction, I talk about it briefly in my last video. It was a great album. Great experience. I was hype as fuck when that shit dropped, like just out of nowhere. Like I wasn't on Instagram, I wasn't on Twitter, I wasn't on no social media platforms, bro. But as soon as I logged on, first thing that popped up. By now I've heard this album about 3-4 times. Each time the album, I just like it more and more. I don't know why. I will say when I first checked it out, I was kind of getting a little drained, you know what I'm saying, because ain't nothing wrong with the West Coast, you know what I'm saying, sound, the bumpy sound that you get, ain't nothing wrong, but it was getting a little repetitive, I ain't gonna lie. But then when you got tracks like Luther, Gloria, Dodger Blue, The Heart Part 6, those tracks to me, bruh, made me thought differently of the album. You know what I'm saying? I thought this was just gonna be West Coast straight on down. I'm glad it wasn't, bro. We got that Kendrick where he can go into multiple lanes and still talk about the things that he talks about, you know, and those groovy singing R&B, you know what I'm saying, those tracks that's outside of rap, which is kind of still in rap, but outside of it for the most part, those are tracks that really made this album for me. Ain't nothing, like I said, ain't nothing wrong with the West Coast pops. I said West Coast pop. Ain't nothing wrong with the West Coast sound. It was just a lot of not like us type of variants. But like I said, as I kept listening to this album more and more, those West Coast vibey bumpy tracks, bro, some of them grew on me. You know what I'm saying? Like TV Off, the album title track, GNX, like bro. There's like a whole video of me dancing or whatever. I'm not gonna show it, but there's a whole video of me dancing to it, bro. That shit got to me, bro. Much like Mr. Morale, To Pimp a Butterfly, even Damn, I feel like GNX deserves to be in that essential category. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you're on Apple Music, you got the essentials. I feel like later down the road, this will be one of those albums. If not, I feel like it is, because for the time frame and the reason why it was put out. Not only that is a great record, in my opinion, the uproar, the commotion, all the promotion that it had for this album. You know, we had the Drake beef, we had the Big 3 conversation, Super Bowl talk, halftime talk, you know, Lil Wayne. It's so many navigation points that came from this album. It will be one of his most memorable albums, and because of that 9-month rollout that we had, basically we call it a rollout, I think all of us expected an album at some point. You know what I'm saying? Not only everything I just named, but like people even drop little teasers of snippets of songs, you know what I'm saying, especially, you know, the week that the album dropped. You know what I'm saying? Like he had like a little teaser for it. Another thing about this album, I feel like, you know, I mean, Kendrick is no stranger to exploring, you know what I'm saying, different lanes and styles and stuff, but I like this album for the simple fact that it was very narrow, it was direct. You know what I'm saying? Albums like To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, like those albums were way more story driven, and it took some time for Kendrick to get to the plot or get to the message that he was trying to preach. This, we already knew everything. We knew everything, you know what I'm saying? Because of the 9 months that came before, it was just kind of like his victory lap. You know what I'm saying? He got the Super Bowl coming up. This was just kind of Kendrick just rapping everything in album form. I appreciate, you know, Kendrick doing that. Everybody wanted to see an album from Kendrick. When Mr. Morale dropped, at that point it had been 5 years. But Kendrick, you know what I'm saying, he was very quick with this. And I felt like this probably was one of the most easier albums for him because, you know, everything that happened within this year. So he could kind of just concise everything. An album like Mr. Morale, I understand why they had to take 5 years. But to get into some of the pros of this album, if I haven't done it already, but I know I've been glazing the fuck out of this album, but some other pros of this album, one good thing was, I think this was a great project to put on other artists from the West Coast, from Cali, Compton, whatever. You just have to give respect to that. We know Kendrick represent Compton to the fullest. They've been having his back all year with the Drake beef, and knowing Kendrick's status, like, he never has to do that. You know what I'm saying? That just further his point, how much he has contribute to not only the culture but his city. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just enhanced his whole point, the whole point of the album. You know what I'm saying? Which he pretty much merits in his hard work. And that's another good thing I like about this album. Like, he was really talking that shit. Like, he put niggas on, he put the city on, like, he did this, he did that. He deserves to be in that GOAT conversation, and he keeps emphasizing on that. And it's like throughout the album you see it. Once again, his previous albums, you know, he was very worldly, local. Not saying that he's not this with this album. He's very much local with this album. You can see he kind of put himself first. You got tracks like Man at the Garden. Once again, he soaks in all of that adulation, and you know what I'm saying, he feels like he deserves it all. That's basically what that song was about. Songs like Reincarnated, which basically samples Tupac, you know what I'm saying, he basically saying that he's a Tupac of this generation. But the way he puts it, the way he spun it, you gotta check that song out if you haven't. Like, it's very creative, and you know, Kendrick gets in his introspective creative bag in every album. You're going to get a track where he's very introspective, you know what I'm saying? No matter what the album it is, no matter what the situation is, you're going to get that type of Kendrick. The Hard Part 6 is probably my favorite song. It's very endearing, you know what I'm saying? The sample soothes it. The sample just brings much more to that sentimental part of it, you know what I'm saying? You got the SWV, they did an interpolation, and they did a hell of a job remaking that shit. A hell of a job re-recording the vocals and everything. Like, that shit was dope. This one is my favorite because the whole album has just been him soaking in everything he's done, but this song, he takes the attention off of him. And if you remember, in Drake's Hard Part 6, Drake pretty much came after his people. He came after Dave Free. In hindsight, it's a shot at Drake, but the way he did it was very much mature, like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like no direct diss, you know what I'm saying? He just really put the spotlight on the people that he came out with, that he worked with, that helped him got to where he is, you know what I'm saying? So the only con that I have of this album is that, like I said in the beginning, like, I do think that, you know, the West Coast sound was repetitive, just a slight bit, but I mean, he was putting on his city, and there was no Baby Keem, so I was a little sad by that. But hey, at least in my mind, I know they got some shit, and at some point they gonna drop some shit. So last thing I would say is that I don't think, because this is another thing that I've seen so much online, Twitter, it's kind of hard for me to compare. And I know I've been doing all the comparing to like his albums this whole video, but you know, it's kind of unfair to compare this one in terms of, like, obviously in terms of quality, GNX does not level up to Damn, Mr. Morale, you know, all the others, you know what I'm saying? Of course we know that, but it's like this album is like in a whole nother spectrum. And I only say that because I feel like this album was unwarranted, in a sense that we didn't need an album for a stamp of approval, because Kendrick already did enough. He already proved his point. He beat Drake without even the album existing. You know, he did enough to prove that he's on top. If anything, this was just the cherry on top. I feel like pre Mr. Morale, he had to prove himself. He was still at that phase of dropping albums, you know what I'm saying, really putting his flag down at that point in time. I just think it's, you know, comparing is just stating the obvious. That's why I think it's unfair, because it's just stating the obvious. But in terms of reasoning and stuff like that, bro, like, it's two different Kendricks. You know what I'm saying? Pre Mr. Morale and even Mr. Morale is one Kendrick. GNX is a whole nother Kendrick. Like, it's not the same person, bro. But if I were to rate this album, man, I've seen Anthony Fantano give it a 9 out of 10. I mean, I respect it, you know what I'm saying? I'll give it an 8 out of 10. You know, like, I give it an 8. It just feels like an 8 out of 10. Gosh, Dodger Blue is so fucking good, bro. If it wasn't for Dodger Blue and the Heart Part 6, this probably be like a 6, 7 out of 10 for me. Damn. It's not my favorite this year, my favorite album this year, but it's pretty damn close as one of my favorites. It's probably like top 4. Let me just get it out the way, like, bro. If I would have say my top albums of 2024, bro, number 4 would be GNX. 3 will probably be Marciology by Rock Marciano, bro. Gotta check that shit out, bro. And number 2 would be Dark Times. Number 1, obviously, Chromacopia. It's my favorite album this year. But it's crazy, like, the West Coast been killing it, bro. They top 3 in my fucking top 4. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Have y'all checked out GNX, man? Pretty sure y'all have, man. What y'all think of it? Is it y'all favorite album? Do y'all think it is the best album of the year, despite it just came out? But y'all let me know what y'all think. I appreciate y'all for checking me out, coming back to the video, man, coming back to the channel. If you're new, like, subscribe, share. Roll to 1,000 subscribers, man. We're on our way there. Be there very soon. And I'm gonna just keep bringing the content to y'all guys, man. And yeah, appreciate y'all once again. Happy Thanksgiving. Y'all enjoy yourself, man. Get fat today. Get fat. That's all I'm about to say.